What is up, everyone? Awesome to be back in my studio area. Don't mind my creepy help sign back there. This thing needed help, so I figured I'd change out the background. And I noticed before I even got a chance to come on, this comment came up from our buddy Chris Perry. Yeah, servo, very weak. I think we had a total of 10-15 minutes on it, and it pooped the bed. Gears inside, the brass gear on the motor kind of burned out, melted, kind of wore out, as well as the little metal gear inside of it. I gave it to our buddy Greg at Fields Hobby as a gift. I figured he can have that because this is the first time he was there. Well, we did an unboxing, which was a huge failure because something happened with StreamYard and my internet, and things went south. So, yeah, was not happy about that. But here it is again. And I started working on it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go back into the studio area. Kind of my favorite place to be. I get to change backdrops. I get to set it up how I want, and it's more comfortable. But Element Rc Utron, definitely a decent rig. I like it a lot. It performs really, really well when it works. So we took it out in the backyard. We had our buddy Bert, Greg, Tom, and Dan was supposed to get to drive it, and things started going south. I get the controller, and I got like 3 minutes on it before it started not turning to the left. And I took apart the servo. I built out of all the Amazon broken ones that we don't really break too often, we decided to build a temporary servo. And then we didn't need it because we went to Fields Hobby and ended up walking out with, which I didn't want to, but Greg felt bad and he got us a servo for this, which is a 29 kilogram, 400 mg. This one is the 100% waterproof. Obviously, nothing's 100% waterproof. Power HD servo. And we also went with the Power Hobby 560 winch while we were in there. So both metal cased. These always happen when you're live. But this thing is a muddy mess. It's soaked. The other day, like I said, I was playing with it. I was going to tear it completely apart and just go through it because I have a feeling when we were at Shelter 31, things started making some noises and it wouldn't move, and I'm leaking. And I think the slipper clutch is loose from the factory. I don't think there's any damage to it. So I'm going to finish tearing it apart. Don't have my overhead camera. Like I said, I just put the studio back together because for the last few months I was traveling to different places and taking video from different areas. And now I get to pretty much, there's a screw hanging out there, be back in my studio. So what I am going to do is finish tearing this thing apart, and I'm assuming just the slipper clutch is loose. I don't see a problem. And I also like the fact that Element Rc they actually have a big wad of grease on there. So I gotta say that they actually grease this up. Plastic gear, not a fan of that, but I guess I would rather have a plastic gear go instead of something else. So I like the fact that they kind of went with the Traxxas setup with the plate, boom, down, locks everything in. Like I said, the stealth transmission, I actually like it a lot. No issues. It's pretty smooth, quiet. But we also did over the weekend at Tom's. He kind of helped me out as we were working on stuff, and we got the light kit in. We had to custom make and modify for the tails. There was no hole for the LED lights. I had to modify the front as well. Tom drilled them out for me, and then I kind of put everything together. But Shelter 31, it was well lit. We got downpoured on. We went through the creek. Trucks peeing all over the place. But should have cleaned this thing first, but I was just curious to see what happened. I wish I had the overhead camera working, but it is what it is. I'll get that back up and add them too. Hopefully this week. I want to get back to doing more videos inside here. But Tom made this little adapter to go into the LEDs, the Racing, the $10 ones at Field Hobby for us local folks. But I like the fact they have 2 slots here to run lights or something else if you wanted to, maybe another light bar at the top. You just plug it right in there and unplug it if you don't want to use it. So that is actually really, really nice that they did that. Now you don't actually have to go inside the receiver box. You can just plug them in right there. Works perfect. So another good thing that they did. So I wish I had my overhead camera so that you guys can see what I'm getting into. But in other words, we can just sit here and talk since we have not done this in forever in the studio. But I know it's a summer day and most people want to go out and have fun. So if you guys are doing that, I'm kind of glad you guys are out there having fun because we only have like another month before we get 9 months of winter. So you do have to take some things apart to get to the front bolt of the tranny. You have to take the front skid plate out. You have to take this inner fender out. Not a big deal, just a few screws. I like the hinge part to get further into everything. Once again, like I said, I mean, other than this stupid stuff here, the truck actually works really, really well. There's a lot of spots that me and Tom couldn't believe it actually went up, which I'm cool with. I mean, I'm not out to, I already know some people's vehicles are going to work better than others in certain areas. So I'm not, oh boy. That's what I meant. Some of these spots are a little tough to get to. But like I said, I mean, the rig did pretty well, other than, you know, the weird little the breakage errors. But I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, not everything can be bulletproof. Not everything can be as good as a Trax is. But I know they have their weak points too. So, like I said, I mean, cheap servo. We already know they're gonna break from factory, right out of the box. We don't really put too much trust into them. But like I said, I mean, now I have a pretty decent servo in there. So I doubt I'll have too many issues from here on out. I hope, because I would rather use this thing instead of keep fixing it. So Element, I mean, maybe next truck, put a better servo in it and make sure the slipper clutch is tight, because I have a feeling that is going to be loose. I doubt the pads or anything are going to be bad. But I know I see a lot of people, A, getting rid of a lot of stuff, and B, working on a lot of stuff as far as building things. So, and I know I want to congratulate JP for getting a building and getting the drifting going local. Well, Silver Creek, which still isn't that bad. I mean, it's better than going a few hours away to certain areas. So congrats, JP. And I know you wanted to do this a long time ago, and I'm just glad that you're able to get to it now. So we don't need that part. So let's see here. We have the slipper clutch, and it looks like Let's see if we could tighten that sucker up a little bit here. That body's dirty. What a disaster. So let's see what size this is here. Okay. Okay. It's definitely the size there. Like I said, this truck was working really, really well, and then weird things started happening. And I got stuck in the mud, but I didn't really push the truck too much, so I can't see that being an issue. I mean, really wasn't that loose. Hopefully we don't need a slipper clutch, because that would stink. So let's just pull this apart and see what the pad looks like. I doubt the pad took a poop. I think it's just going to be that it was just a little loose, which, I mean, it wasn't that loose, but worst case scenario is we have to order something else for this already. So, like I said, I mean, we didn't really put it to a real big test, so why it went in the first place is beyond me, but we're just going to pull it apart and check it. Like I said, I'm going to end up getting the overhead camera back up and running so you can see what I get myself into, because I have some projects that I'm going to probably build right live with you guys. Okay, so we have those two. And we have this one here. Got a lot of spacers on here. Okay. So we got 3 spacers. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Get off of there. Yeah, they got another spacer on this thing but I'm curious to see what is actually the issue. This one's not too easy to get off of here. I do got to say they actually put a little bit of grease on here, which is weird, pulling some of this stuff apart, because it seems like nobody ever uses grease anymore. All right, let's pull this off. Just gonna pull this right apart. There we go. All right. So the slipper pad is worn out already, but not too bad. So I think we should be able to just tighten it up, and I'll order one just in case this happens again. I sure hope it doesn't, but I don't know why. I don't know why they didn't tighten it down that tight to begin with, but who knows? But at least I got a total of an hour and 15 minutes on it. Yep, good old hour and 15 minutes. So, brand new truck. Hour and 15 minutes, if that. That's not good. that one, and this one. Okay, that, and that. Ooh. Gotta flip that other one around. Okay. Not too easy to get off of there either. My hand don't fit inside there. There we go. So that's got to go like that. This one's got to go like this. This one has to go back like this. And then we can put the nut back on. And we'll tighten her down. She wasn't really that tight to begin with. So, yeah. But we are definitely going to end up upgrading that slipper. I want to be out on the trails and deal with this again. But I mean, it's not too hard. It's not too hard to work on this thing, to be honest with you. But I am leaking everywhere. Definitely a leaker. So if I can say there's another upgrade, if you're going to go into water, either get a hold of EJ for some liners, or get some different liners. I've had nothing but good luck with EJ's liners, so I will probably end up doing that so that I don't have to deal with these foams anymore. Because I have a feeling that with these foams, they're going to get worn out pretty quick with the water. So, I'll tighten this sucker up a little bit better. Yeah, that's funny though. You get maybe 2 hours on it and you already have to sit here and tear it apart. It's always done neat. That's the best part about having 30 rigs. When one's down, you still got 10 others to go with. Okay. That is pretty tight. I hope it's not going to be too tight. I'm just making a mess. I got pee everywhere here. There's pee everywhere. All right. Now I hope that's tight enough, and seems like it. And I don't have any more issues. If I do, yeah, this is like number, I don't know, 20 something out of crawlers. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Everything breaks sometimes. Even the new ones. So now I gotta put everything back together. Ugh. At least I don't have to grease everything. Everything's already well greased. I just have to remember where all 500 of these screws go. Okay, so I know that goes here, under here like so. Like that, like this, like that. I lost the instructions, so I don't know where this goes. Can't look up all data. So, if we still have issues, we know for sure. I mean, the pad didn't look too bad. It was just loose, really. So, we'll find out when we take it back out sometime this year. We'll see how she goes. That one I had to get with a pair of vice grips. So we're going to get that one in place, this one in place. Like I said, not too not too bad to work on. It's just some things are in the way that shouldn't be in the way. But I'll end up having my overhead camera back up and running, so when we do these, you can see the mess I'm actually getting into. And I have to use these crappy Traxxas ones because it's the only thing I have that's long enough to fit through all the little crevices. I actually don't know what I'm doing either. I'm just winging it. Just figure I'll let you guys know that now. I have no idea what I am doing. I always put some weird stuff right in the way. Okay, so that one, I'm gonna have to flip this upside down. There's water everywhere, mud everywhere. Yeah. Who is she and why is she saying that? Who is she? I want to know who she is. I don't think we have many guys on here. I don't think we have many guys that tune in. Or girls, females, guys. Come on, baby. Come on, get in there. Okay. That one's got to go there. Definitely kind of a pain in the butt to get to some of these screws, but come on, get in there. Get in there. And I really don't feel like taking the whole front end apart. I got enough problems. I don't need to be taking off the whole front ends of these things. Okay, there. Okay. Kind of glad I don't have the overhead camera. You guys will see me fail. Wait until you walk in the shop and I am going to have a new hate for the Fiero. I'm not touching the Fiero. I got a 2023 Camaro to work on. I ain't touching no Fiero. I don't even know if I'll be there yet. I have to find out about my doctor's appointment first. I got to get up at 5 a.m. to go there. So I don't know what can happen. I already hate the Fieros anyways. I told Bob not to take that in. He wasn't going to either, and then he did. So that's his problem, not mine. Definitely not my problem. Okay, so let's go with that there. This here. And how do I want to get to that one? Probably that way. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, there. Not that easy. Definitely not that easy. Yeah, it's definitely not going to trust these foams for too long with all the water in them. Yeah, she's definitely urinating pretty good. She's a drooler. Definitely a drooler. But they also don't make this too easy to get to some of these screws without tearing the whole front end apart. And guess what? I ain't doing that. So we're going to keep going just like this and hope for the best. So far, we're getting lucky without taking the whole front end apart. Shouldn't have to take the... Yeah, we got caught in a downpour and we decided to go creek running Saturday night, me and Tom. And because we wanted to try this thing out for more than the 3 minutes I got to play with it that one night because Greg broke it. But I'm not gonna blame Greg right away or say his name too much. But he definitely broke it. Him and the field guys, I'm gonna say it started with Tom. I think Tom knew something bad was gonna happen and gave it to Bert. And I think Bert heard a noise and then said, "I'm gonna let Greg finish it off." And once Greg finished it off, he says, "Here, you try it." And I got about 3 minutes before it didn't move anymore. So, yeah, man, that Greg, I'll tell you. Yeah, I think it's going to be all those Fields guys. I ain't letting them touch nothing no more. I don't even want them to watch me touch stuff anymore. This is ridiculous. And why the slipper clutch, I have no idea. I'm going to blame Element for that one. And they don't have strong guys to tighten up the slipper clutch. So I'm hoping that from it being loose, that it didn't damage it, but I'm going to have to call and order one anyways, just to be on the safe side, because I already know what's going to happen. I'm going to take it out and it's going to be junk. So definitely a lot tighter than it was. The slipper pad is worn, but doesn't look like it's too bad that I won't be able to drive it for a little bit. Oh yeah, Bert sets everybody up for failure. I think he actually set Greg up for failure. I'm definitely gonna assume he did that. Yeah, I mean, I don't like to talk to those guys about those guys on live, but I figure they're not here right now, so I can say what I want. All right, so we got that one in, that one in, that one in, and I thought there was one more down here somewhere, and we will be able to tell in 1 minute. Okay, let's see here. We will be able to tell right now. There we go. It's a bright light, but it allows me to see what I am doing, and because I couldn't see it before, I do have one more. Failure. What are you talking about? I do anyway. Talking about Fields? Listen, they know. I go in there and say the same thing, but yet they never kick me out because I spend so much money. That's all they do. They just keep me coming back for money. They don't really care. Yeah, I usually do. Yeah. I said it all day today at the doctor's. Pain in my rear. No wonder why I don't go to the doctor's. Yeah, and just start grabbing parts and taking them apart until something works. That's what I'm doing right now. Just winging everything I do, just to hope it works when I put it all back together. Probably should have grabbed a battery and a controller, but I already know it's going to work. I just don't know how long the slipper clutch is going to last, because for some reason I think from being loose and it's spinning, it's going to be worn out pretty good. She had some wear marks in her. Definitely had some wear marks in her. And just like working on real cars, this thing's never going to run again. Never. Okay. So, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 there. So this can actually be put back together now. Yeah, 150 an hour just to look at it. Once you start working on it, it's $200 an hour. Ain't enough money in the world that makes me want to keep working on cars. These I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind working on these. As long as they run when I'm done, that's all that matters. All right, so we got that. We can put this wheel well back on here. This one's kind of a pain in the butt to line up the front. And we're going to go with these two. what you really want to do is make sure that you have extra parts. You never want to put all the parts back in. You always want to make sure that there's at least 10 nuts and bolts or screws left, because you need them for the next project. So never put all your nuts and bolts back in. Yeah, I'm gonna send Greg a list of things I need now. So, but I would like to find a slipper clutch eliminator and just be done with it. And I'm pretty sure they have them. I just have to look it up because I know it's a newer truck. So I don't know if it's the same thing as the other Element Enduros and stuff like that, or just any stealth transmission. Are you writing them down for me, Bob? I hope so, because I forgot what I needed already. Listen, I'm going to Bronco the crap out of this. If you guys don't know who Bronco is, he's 70 years old, and he's a bull. He works his butt off, I'm going to say that. And the only thing with Bronco, though, is if he borrows a wrench, he can't find it, and then 3 days later he realizes it's in his pocket after he sat on it 47 times during the day. Okay, so that's in. We have this one, and this one, and this one. So, did you guys see that? A friggin' fly came out of nowhere, hit me in the side of my ear. And I put this background up, only reason being is because I may need help when I'm done. So, all right. This thing got beat up already. I barely even got to use it, and it looks like I've been using it for about 6 months. Okay, so skid plate, go back on. I'm going to say, though, this thing actually, when it works well. Yeah, Comic-Con. So when are you going to do videos of you putting together some of your semi-trucks, Bob? I mean, because those only take, what, 7 years to put together? Especially the way you do them. Oh, boy. All right, so the way you guys do them, things look like real trucks. So you guys have to take forever with those things. I still got one still sitting in the box. I don't know which one to do first, that or my my Cross RC tow truck. I'm still debating on which one's going to be the winter project, because I have a feeling that's going to take months. I'll let you borrow a camera. All you have to do is turn it on. Just like New York State. Take something out once, and things are already starting to rust. We got rusty screws. We got rusty hubs. Man, can't have anything nice in New York State. Okay, so we pretty much got that back together. I'm hoping that slipper clutch lasts a little bit longer until Fields can get my new slipper clutch in. Which button is that? It's the on one. It's the on button. That's all you need to do is on. I would say I would come over and video it, but yeah, I ain't got the 7 years. Must be something in the water. Yeah. I'm not going to talk politics on here, but I was going to blame somebody else. But I like the fact it's like the Traxxas. I mean, just slide it in and put the cover on it. Nothing crazy. So that's kind of nice. The only thing is it's got this little hook that all the wires go in. So you have to kind of line all that back up. And you already know what happens. Once you take something apart, it never goes back together the same way. So this will be a disaster. Yep, there it is. Already a disaster. I can't get the tiny wire in. I can't get the tiny wire in. Okay, so there's that one. And then these two like this. Okay. That wire's got to come over here like so. Okay. So that's got to go like that. That one goes like that. And that goes like that. So that one's in. These two motor wires are in. And now we can tighten everything up. It's never going to run again. This thing's now junk. So I'll be selling parts off of it next week. Just to let you guys know. She'll be just fine as I'm squishing all kinds of water. I don't have any extra parts yet. I just threw them all in the transmission so nobody could see them. So when I'm going down the trails and you hear grinding, just don't even worry about it. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. All right, that one, this one, but I still got 2 screws left. One of them can be extras. Okay, and I gotta not screw myself up because this is a reverse motor, so I have to wire it, which I almost forgot about for a second. Yeah. Spare parts, spare change, all the same. If you hear those quarters grinding in the transmission, don't worry about that. It'll just be more parts I have to order for this thing already. This is the first truck I've ever got where I think I have more time working on it than I have time driving it. As weird as it may seem. The Bushido, man, with tiny tires, I beat the crap out of that thing. Nothing ever breaks. Servo did break, but I mean, that's to be expected. But other than that, everything else was good. Never had to do anything in the training. Never had to do anything with the slipper clutch. I did overdrive it, so there was that. But that one had no grease in the transmission. What's crazy? The fact that I got more time working on this thing than I got driving it. Nothing new. Nothing new. Definitely nothing new in my life. Okay. All right. So that wasn't too bad. We'll find out when the slipper clutch is too tight. Like I said, I mean, I guess once I fix all the mistakes, I guess the thing should be bulletproof. So, but I have a feeling the slipper clutch is just a little too tight. But I already know that I'm going to need that anyways, because from it being loose, there's a wear in that pad, and like I said, I don't think it's going to last too long. So we'll just have to order that too, and so get ready to put money into this thing if you decide to get it. That's all I can say, and don't let the guys from Fields drive it before you, or you're definitely not going to get time to play with it. I'm just kidding, or am I? But I mean, like I said, a new servo, new heavy-duty servo winch, which really weighed down the front of this thing really well. So, like, I mean, you really got to put your hand up front to balance it. So if you try to get in the center, the thing just kind of weighs itself down. So, I mean, really no need for anything metal up front. So, tires work really well. I don't have no complaints with those. So that's a good thing, other than, the amounts of water that's in there. I mean, I don't know if anybody else is trying to get one of these. I tried to play with the shock locations. Got better flex, but then had some binding with the shock because of the design of them with the weird shock on the bottom. No, you're not kidding. Doesn't sound like much value. I mean, for $300, it works really well. I mean, just have to figure out the weak spots, I guess, just like anything else. And just like anything else, don't run it against the fence line at my place because, yeah, this thing went through it like nothing, but it took the servo out. So, and I think it took your servo out too, didn't it, Bob? Along the fence line, burned everything out. But I mean, it's a cool rig. I mean, it works really well when it works. Like for a while when I was at Shelter 31, it was going up and down things that I did not expect it to go to, and some of it was with ease. So, I mean, it's a weird looking truck, but I mean, once I go through it and figure out things for the body, maybe a rack in the back, rack on the top, front light, I think it'll be all right. It'll kind of take technically the cheapest new 110 scale crawler out right now. Pretty much. I mean, to be honest with you, this is the first Element I've ever had a problem with outside out of the box. I mean, the Bushido, I beat the snot out of that thing. Servo took a crap, but once again, I'm running smaller tires. I mean, if I was running the stock tires, I probably wouldn't have too many problems. But you know, that truck, everybody used to run max of 31s on most of those. So I decided to go with one that looked like a 29 to 30 inch tire. So that's really my fault that the servo took a poop. What are you going to do? Put a better one in there. I put the Eco Power $60 servo, and that took a crap as well. So we're going to try the same thing I got in here now and metal everything. Call it a day, metal housing, and see if it works as good as this one did. Almost looks like the H2 body. But yeah, Nate, it's $300. I mean, what is it? Call it with tax, what? Like, I don't know. Let's call it $340. And I mean, I think they're still $300 as far as I remember. It's basically an FJ with a Ford Raptor rear end. I mean, if you think about the wide stance on the kick out, it almost looks like a Ford Raptor in the back. But I mean, what did I tell Tom this weekend? Work in the back, party in the front, I think I said. But I mean, it's all right. I mean, I like it because the fact is, once you work out the weak spots, or like anything else, you don't really have to do much more. The clearance for the rear and the front bumpers is perfect. It crawls up, and like I said, the bumpers really don't get in the way. I did take the front bumper and kick it back a little bit to give even more clearance. It was out probably another quarter of an inch, and it still really didn't get hung up, but I figured why not get it right back and out of the way, and which really opens up the wheels. You can actually, I mean, there's really, with the body on it, well, I mean, I could take the body off, but like the bumper is like a quarter into the tire, maybe half. And you have all this open room. You have all this room here, so it doesn't really get caught on anything. Same thing with the back. By the time this tire comes down, like you're already past whatever's back there. So they tuck those in real nice, and this thing doesn't really get hung up on much. You know, the only thing that it gets hung up on is, you know, itself, because the slipper clutch acts up and you can't go nowhere. Correct. Yep, Bob. The approach angle on this thing is 10 times better with just pushing the bumper back. I really didn't have too much of an issue, but I did get hit on a couple of sharp rocks in the backyard. And like I said, once I move this back in, I'll test it again along the fence. But everything at Chestnut Ridge, Shelter 31, it really just kind of walked up. It really didn't have too many issues. So, I mean, that by itself, out of the box, is a good thing. So what? You got to put a servo in. We know we're ready to run. 90% of the time you got to put a servo in. Traxxas not too often, but I mean, you know, it depends on your driving style too. But I mean, I wasn't mad. So what? You had to put a servo in it and maybe a slipper clutch eliminator. What was that, $20? So for maybe an extra $100, you kind of have a bulletproof truck. Like I said, I mean, it didn't really get caught up. The skid plate underneath, every time you went up a rock, it seemed to either slide you to where the tire could catch, or it just lifted your front end up and your back end was able to hop you over stuff. So I'm not going to complain. The truck still performs really well suspension wise. This new independent front suspension, the geometry angles and everything, the geometry of the suspension, I mean, everything moves straight up and down. The flex on it, I know I had issues, so I might as well go through some of this again. I had issues Friday night with the internet and StreamYard, so I'm pretty sure I got that all figured out. So, I mean, like I said, the suspension's flex for stock and independent suspension. I mean, it's really good. I mean, it tucks the tire, it grabs. The tires itself are sticky. They seem to grab really well. So I'm not really going to complain out of the box, you know, with modifications, maybe do a different shock, which I doubt I'll need. This seems to work really well with the weird shock design that they got going on. So I'm happy with it. I mean, even so, I already own it. So, I mean, even if I'm not happy, I already paid for the thing. So, Nate, when are you going to be doing the viewers' rides again? Well, after these next few doctor's appointments and stuff, I'm hoping to do more lives again. And wintertime's coming, so obviously people need things to do. So I'm hoping to start that back up by the end of August, early September, because I know a lot of cool new things are coming out. I'm talking to Greg from Fields about possibly getting the newer Kyosho Buick in here with the flip-up headlights. Kyosho is also coming out with that new green Chevy that I posted on the page. I have one of those pre-ordered. So I'm excited because Kyosho keeps coming out with these cool stuff, and that's a cool truck that they're coming out with. Gotta have that. Yeah, $300 is a decent deal. I'm not gonna complain. The body's weird, but it's different. I like the independent front suspension. It works real well. Like anything, putting a servo in it isn't a big deal. Putting a slipper clutch in it isn't a big deal. Like I said, you know, $20, probably get the Eliminator one. Bob's going to buy one, and then he's going to bring it over and burn out the servo on my course. Like I said, I think, didn't you burn out the one in the Sport on that back wall along the fence that day? I know a lot of people were getting stuck over there. I think it's getting worse, which is perfectly fine. But there is a winch over there now, a hand winch, to winch yourself up. That's all right. I have time to pay for everything. The only other truck I got is in October, and I get to pay on that. So I have time to do odd jobs to pay for some of that stuff. Didn't your truck start? Oh no, your truck didn't start on fire, Bob. I think it was a WD-40, wasn't it? It was smoking. We all thought it was starting on fire, and we were all laughing. That was great. We'll have to come over and burn out some more parts on your truck. Seems like not too many people have broken lately. I think it's because we were smart enough to start either A, moving them, or B, winching them out. And that's why a lot of the trucks now have winches on them. And I got my tow truck all situated, so there should be no broken parts, hopefully. But some people are a little crazy on the throttle. I myself as well am guilty of that, especially with the Bushido with tiny tires. I just keep letting that rip. I'm a little crazy with the blue 40th anniversary Axial Chevy because that thing just takes it. One of these days, I have a feeling I'm going to come home and Bert's going to steal it out of my garage. Yes, definitely, definitely cheaper to move them. But along that wall now is a winch that reaches pretty much that whole length. So therefore, if you do get stuck, you can just hook the winch up and you can reel itself out and get out. That's if you're a nerd like me and like the fact that stupid little fly. I wish I had that electronic zapper so I can whack them. So, I mean, there is also, if you have a winch, I also have some hook points in the rougher area so you can winch yourself up instead of beating on your truck. But yeah. But also, this is the first start to that C10 Chevy that's coming out. C10? Yeah, the Coyote Show. These are the front and rear lights for that truck. So as soon as that comes in, I will be doing the same thing that I did with the 57 Chevy, turning it rear wheel drive, dropping it, and putting a light kit in it and driving it once a year. It's only money, right? But also, there was some confusion today that about an event. This is not a stab at anybody, but that Tough Truck event that was coming up, there was back and forth on the Reckless page and I think on the Scalers page as well. So that is still a go. I'm going to try to get, what do we got? Correct, yes, like the 57 Chevy. That thing just looks cool with the lights on the front, driving at night. Don't need to go fast, don't need to go crazy, but it just looks really good in the video. It's crazy. And in pictures too. But let's go. First time I had to go to the computer in a while, so this is great. And I have to cover up my face. So, man, I look so good right now, don't I? So this event, like I said, this isn't a stab at anybody. This is just letting everybody know that the confusion for this event, it's still a go. As far as I know, all the event information is still the same. I think they have people working on it. So I know, like I said, there was some confusion about it. This is not a Reckless RC event, and we didn't sponsor this event or anything. But like I said, there was just so much confusion going on with a few of the members. Nothing against them. Still love you guys. It's just this event is still happening. So if you've seen it that says it's not, unless I get information that it's not happening, I'll let you guys know. But so far, this is still on. Like I said, I just wanted to break up the confusion on that. So this is not a plug for anything. This is just once again, this event is on. I know there was all kinds of stuff going on. Also, I'm not scared to share my screen with you guys. So, oopsie. So, Eric Weber posted today, about 4 hours ago, somewhere around there, that Saturday, September 23rd and Saturday, October 21st, they are doing a Class 2 comp at Lakeside Crawler Park. Obviously, you guys pretty much know where that is, the rock pile. This is downtown Buffalo by the waterfront if you're not local and don't really know about it. So, looks like Saturday, September 23rd and October 24th. It's pretty much set in stone. Obviously, he's got some information up here. They're going to keep the rules simple. No scale points required, but trucks must appear at least somewhat scale. and somewhat probably like a stock truck would look, is what I'm going to assume. 4.75 or shorter tires, no pin tires or other outlawed pro competition tires. Wheels can be 2.2 or smaller. Chassis must be at least as long as the wheelbase and must be flat rail or a factory original C-channel. Welded truggy chassis is also acceptable. No four-wheel steer. Can be equipped but not used during the run. No MOA axles, which are the motor on axles. I have a few of those lingering around here. No dig. Can be equipped, but you can't really use it. Obviously, check out the Scalers page. Keep an eye on Eric Weber's post for more of that info. Dates changed. Once again, I will probably end up posting his on ours, just so that people can see it, just in case there's not some people on the Scalers page that are on the Reckless page. So I'll post that up. And once again, September 23rd and October 24th, or 21st. Sorry, brain works faster than my mouth. So if you're looking to try to get into a comp style event, that would be, I would say more of a get together. It's probably not really an event. It's probably more of a get together. We don't really want to call it event down there because of the city of Buffalo, but it'll probably just be a post of a get together of some people getting together and doing that. Obviously, it's a post, not an event, because he just posted it. So if you're looking to get into comps, that would be a good start. Eric Weber, JJ, Dave, and I think Mike Ball is another one. Those guys are good to deal with because they can give you some good pointers. Because I know when I first started, I seen those guys doing a lot of comp stuff. So if you're looking to do that, definitely hit up the Scalers page for that. Also, the week end, I think that would be Sunday. So let's do this. Yes, I don't mind sharing my computer screen because there is nothing on here. So, not saying that there's things on other computers that you guys should be worried about, but let's see here. We'll share this with you guys as well. Obviously, you know, Dave from Fields. He, Western RC Rally Rebels. They will be doing the rally at Kissing Bridge. I think it's going to be more, I think he said it's going to be more of a point to point. Yes, this will be a point to point event with multiple courses. So if you guys were worried about all the stones that you guys kicked up last time into your motors and chassis and destroyed stuff, I'm assuming he's going to have it somewhere else where that won't happen. But you can keep an eye on the page and his events for that. His classes, Group A, Group B, Infraction, Mini B, M Chassis, and Baja, which is also, I think, that Mayhem class where everybody kind of goes nuts. But obviously, get a hold of Dave from Fields for that and the Western Rally Rebels for that stuff. And the 27th is also let's go back to here. Sorry, I'm looking at this, but so theirs is the 26th and the 27th. So if you want to go Saturday the 26th to this tough truck event, then you guys can hit the rally after, up to you, but you got multiple events that weekend. But that is totally up to you guys. And I also wanted to, let's go here. I'm sharing my screen with y'all folks. And I know you guys seen this picture. And my cousin doesn't come on social media as far as Facebook and stuff. But me and my cousin have been close for years. So let's put this up. Okay. So me and my cousin have been close for years, and we always had this thing about if one of us makes it in the world, and we have money that we don't know what to do with, we owe the other a raptor. I'm not rich by all means, and no, I don't make money off of any of this. But Fields was able to put aside a Ford Raptor that me and my cousin talked about. Hey, if you become rich and wealthy, you owe me a Raptor when you buy yours, and vice versa. So I ended up buying him a Raptor. Obviously, it's not the real deal because I'm broke and not rich at all, but I was able to afford that one. And so, it would be that one. Yeah, sorry, camera, two different ways. Like that way, that way, that way. So, but yeah, we've been like this for years. I don't think we really ever let anything come between us. And I showed him a picture/video of these things running the one day, and he was like, dude, that blue color looks sweet. And I'm like, good, because I put one of those to the side, which he didn't know about. And today we had a little meeting get together that we had to do, and I gave it to him today. And I already got videos of him, and I call them my nieces, because he's like a brother to me. And they were all running it in the backyard, which actually made me feel really good that I was able to give him something and he could share it with his family, and they all can come together over something like that. And will he ever buy another one? I have no idea, but if they ever come out with another Raptor, I'll probably have to owe him another one. So I hope they don't come out with another one, except for the black one that's coming out in October, and which I already know it's already out. If you actually look up the Traxxas website and stuff like that, it's already out in some places. But I have that ordered, and I will have the black one, and he will have the blue one, and we'll be getting together, and I'm going to end up probably destroying mine before he destroys his. So, but I was glad to be able to do that. I'm glad Traxxas came out with a nice Raptor. I have to get the Pro Light kit for the headlights so I can hook them up with some headlights and possibly tail lights. So, but I won't really stay on here much longer because I got to get up bright and early and go have this examined. So, another good thing I was able to do for somebody else. Once again, don't forget Nate has the swap meet at the Variety Club in October, and I think that is I will have to do. Okay, so I will screen share with you guys because I have nothing to hide on this computer. So let's go to yes, you can see me scrolling really, really fast because it's in here somewhere and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I didn't have all this stuff planned. I just figured I'd do some announcements while I was here. Since I haven't been in the studio and I feel comfortable in here and I love it in here because I have everything at my disposal. Holy crap, where is it? Oh, there's another one coming up. So that's August 12th. Oh, that one passed. I apologize for that. I wasn't in the studio and paying attention to much lately. Also, I'm working on a video for our truck.
All right.
Deemer destroyed his truck.
All right.
Thank you. October 7th.
Deemer destroyed his truck.
All right. I was just busy laughing at Mike Deemer destroying his truck. That made me laugh. Holy crap. There you go. So he misspelled awesome. Obviously, when he created the flyer, he forgot proofreading is a thing. Sometimes you have to do it more than 7 times. Sometimes you have to do it about 107 if you're like me, or you have to walk away and then come back in like 20 minutes and reread it before you actually post it. And so, but once again, this is not a Reckless RC event. This is Nate's event. I say it that way because technically Reckless RC is considered a business. So if I'm not directly involved and money's exchanging hands, I have to pull back. You know what I mean? Because once that's involved, if something happens, I can't. I'm not taking the blunt of taxes and everything else. So, but and it's also cool to see other people do events, whether they be new people, people that have been doing it for years, so on and so forth. Obviously, like I tell everybody, events around here, there's so many of them. Not all of them are going to take off. Sometimes it's hard work to get them going. It's just for 7 years, I've been kissing a lot of butts to be able to have people help me, long-term friendships, never screwing anybody over. And if I have, I apologize, and I don't know what happened. But I try not to screw anybody over. I try to help people. I try to do what I can. Try to get to every event. But I've done so many that I get burned out. And sometimes I just, after, let's say, 2 months of doing consistent events and traveling and breaking down the studio and putting the studio back together, it becomes tiring. I distance myself from family and so on and so forth, and I make no time for anybody, and it gets ridiculous. So from now on, one big event a year, and then I can stop and get to other people's events. But going back to, these new people throwing events, not saying that Nate's new, not saying that Taylor's new, that they're doing the tough truck, not saying that Dave clean my nose. It's tough. It's hard work to continuously do an event every month, or every few weeks, or twice a month. Sometimes it's a lot, like a charity event. Lucky enough that got pushed back when we did it, because it allowed me to focus more on advertising and so on and so forth, which a lot of people don't realize. That I figure, well, I still have a few minutes, I can actually post this, especially for the locals that are trying to, like you, Nate, people that are actually trying to throw events. They can't be thrown in a month and expect a big result. Correct, Bob. Burnt out. It hits you hard, and you don't realize it. And if I can offer you guys some advice, I know Mike Rice tries to throw a G6 at the end of the year. I know Nate's trying to do, this swap meet in October, and they're doing the tough truck event. And Dave, I'm not worried about. He's doing his thing with the Rally Rebels, and he will figure out where he wants to take that down the road. And my wife just showed me a boob. And I'm not lying either. So, where was I going? I got confused. Oh, so for these newer folks throwing an event, if you watch this, if you don't watch this, that's up to you. If I can offer you guys some advice, it's don't do it less. No, I can't put it on camera. Sorry. I don't think it'd fit on the camera. But the advice I would like to give you guys, from being local, like I said, I know there's more folks out there that have Chris Perry's done events, and JP's starting to do drift events, and JP's been with me from the beginning, as far as, when we first started Reckless RC. I think within a month or so, I met him. And that's why I've been, and since the beginning, that's all he's talked about, is drifting or doing some kind of racing, and always doing some crazy paint jobs. So being with me from the beginning and seeing him wanting to do something like that, that's why, I don't mind helping him. Because of where he started, and he's always been trying to do it and trying to do it and trying to do it. And so me, I like the styling, because, my 57 Chevy, and, like, sometimes I'm just a show guy, not a go guy. So working on those cars, I like to see the styling and so on and so forth. So I have a love and a passion for those kind of cars. So I've been helping him. So if you guys think, oh, you're not helping me with an event and blah, 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 it's because JP's been with me from the beginning. This was his dream to do. He always loved doing it. And that's why sometimes I help him, and I'm not trying to play favorites or anything like that. But I like to see people because JP has helped me in a lot of events, as far as cooking or so on and so forth. And I know Mike Rice and a lot of you guys have seen that, where I'm out on the trails taking pictures and videos. JP's out starting to grill and so on and so forth at cookouts. So going back to the events, I know JP has some people helping him now, which is great. It's good to have that backing of that good few people you can count on. So going back to like Nate near Swap Meet, Mike Royce with his G6s, which I think it was last year he had Connor with him, which Connor's another good dude. I don't know about that. I'm more of the weird the teacher. But I just want to give some advice. I figured since it's the first time back, and I know these guys are trying to do events. You can't just post it once every 2 weeks. It has to be in people's faces continuously. You don't realize there's so many groups out there, especially locals. Me, for my charity event, for my charity event, people don't realize I spent hundreds of dollars on it, marketing for that, as far as advertising on Instagram, Facebook, hitting different areas in Rochester, this, that. And then from doing that, people have shared that. So to actually have a good event, sometimes you actually have to pay out your butt, which I did for the charity event. It's not just purchasing like fields. I've worked with them. I spent tons of money with them, bought a bunch of new trucks with them. And it's more working up a relationship with people and businesses. Tom McCoy out in Performance Hobbies. Probably shouldn't say this with my wife watching if she is, but I go out there a few times a year, try to get out there more. But when we go out there, it's usually Mike Deemer or myself, or sometimes, Tom goes. And we don't spend like $20. We spend 500 to 1,000 out there with Tom. If I see something that he has that Fields or somebody doesn't have, because Fields doesn't carry like a lot of the stuff that Performance Hobbies does in Rochester, I'll try to share it or like it or this or that. So there comes to a time where you have to build relationships with people. So don't try to screw anybody over. I mean, a lot of people think that I screw people over by not coming to their events. It's really not that. Life gets in the way, as most of you guys know, as we get older. Kids, house, things just happen. So don't try to burn any bridges. Try to make it shake hands, kiss babies, or vice versa if you want. Just don't burn any bridges. Try to help. Try to do what you can. Try to make it to as many events you can. Try to shake people's hands. Try to do whatever you can to be in people's faces, and that will help you down the road when it comes down to doing your event. You will make friends that will be there in your corner to help, as well as you do the same. Like Tom. Me and Tom, I know a lot of people think that we kiss each other's butts. It's not. It's a mutual relationship, a good friendship, and he knows if he needs something, I'm usually there if I can be. If I need something, which I usually don't ever ask and I get yelled at for it, he's usually there. The polls, I try to make it to the polls because I like the polls and I like shooting the video. I like watching the trucks come down. That's a passion of mine. That's what I love. It's not singling out other events. It's just what I love to do. And it's no stress because I sit in the corner and I talk to people and I use a camera. So that's one of the reasons why I always make it. It's not just because, it's because Tom's throwing the event, or no, it's not just Tom, it's Joe. I like seeing old man Joe Killian. I like listening to his funny, corny jokes. It's just a good, fun day. And, usually I hang out with Tom afterwards. So I'm only saying that because Tom has been there, especially for the swap meet. Him and Bert, they took over and ran an event. Mike Deemer, Mike Kroll helped. Nate helped set up in the morning, and I believe he helped tear down at the end of the day. I can't remember. There was a lot going on. We're not going to get into that, and please don't post any of that. afterwards of what was going on. So, like I said, I mean, I'm only saying this because I see a lot of people throwing events, and people are complaining only a few people showed up and here and there. But locally, you have to get out and meet people and talk to people. And like I said, I know some people run their mouths about me not showing support and stuff like that. And if you feel obligated and your butt hurt about me saying that, I don't hold anything back. As most know, I'll tell you the way it is. I'll do what I got to do, and that's how it is. I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy or nothing. It's just I see it on my own reckless page. I see it on other people's pages. So don't think I don't see it. It's a small area. Things get around. Social media. Things get around. So if you have a problem with me, just delete me out of your life because I'll make your life hell. But for the people that do give a crap, this is what it's for. So, Nate, if you're still watching, make it to events. Even if you think you can't, try to shake hands, try to talk to people, gotta spend money to make money or kind of make it in any kind of event situation. I've been around events for 10, 15 years as far as not just RC stuff, but, music and car shows and cruise nights and this and that, helping put them on and doing this and doing that. So it comes natural to me to be able to help. If you guys wonder why, you're not helping me with my event, it's nothing because I don't want to. It's the fact that over 7 years, I would rather point you in the right direction instead of doing the work for you. Nobody learns by just saying, hey, can you do this for me? You ain't going to learn nothing. You got to know what to do. And this is me telling you what has worked for me. Spending the money, talking, joking, laughing, like the guys at Fields, like meeting Bob. Every time I see him now, we talk, we joke. Even though he knows I'm busy, he knows that if he needed a hand at his place or something, I would help him. Same thing if I needed a hand and learn how to ask people for help. I know I can count on somebody like him to come and help me. But once again, the community is so big. There's so much going on. Some people don't always check the messages. Some people don't always see, events if it's posted. You have to keep it in people's faces. You have to sometimes, to reach a broader audience, like I reached, is that a word? Yeah. I reached a lot of people in Rochester that came down for, the charity swap meet. 716 Bashers came out, which I didn't even know that was a group. I'm sorry, Pete, if you see this. I didn't know that the 716 Bashers was a group. And then they came out and they were flinging trucks everywhere. Things were breaking. They brought extra parts that they know they broke. Awesome. So reach out to people like that. I know they have a lot of ramps to use. So maybe they could do something. There's so many people you can reach out to in different communities to bring more together. There's not just the crawlers, even though a lot of people are into the crawlers, but there's also drag racing. There's also, like I said, the bashers. You got the drift, you got rally. So there's other things you can get into to help your event be bigger, depending on what your event is. Like I said, I'm just trying to share some information that has worked for me over the years. And let's face it. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or nothing, but I've been to a few events which could have been organized. I'm not going to say no names. Could be organized much better. I know with the crawler events, it's hard, especially G6s. Any follow the leader or no hand of God, stuff like that, trail runs and stuff. It's hard because you have the people that I don't think anybody's going to get mad if I say this. I don't have much more people watching, and I don't plan on being on here much longer. But, you have the people that stop to smoke weed. You have the people that don't. So the group always gets broken up. So if you're having if you've got a G6 going on, and a piece of advice that worked really well for myself is always having a front leader, a back leader, and a middle leader to keep everything pushed together so that everything keeps growing and rolling smoothly. We did that for what was that? That was for the charity event for the Feed More Western New York, where we brought in canned goods and cash for the holidays. It was around Thanksgiving and Christmas, so we wanted to make sure that Feed More had enough money for turkeys and canned food to feed everybody. And when we did that as well. We had a leader, a middleman, and an ending man to try to keep everything moving along. We put Mike Crawl in the front, which probably wasn't the best. It worked real well, but Mike Crawl and Mike Deemer are like, they bring the crawlers out and they go like 90 miles an hour. So sometimes you have to slow them down a little bit, but it worked really well. I mean, everybody pretty much finished at the same time. We had a few stragglers only because of children, and which isn't a big deal. But so for G6s, I mean, that works well. Don't take that to heart to anybody that does a G6 and has some issues. I'm just offering advice. Like I said, I mean, offer something as well, whether it be raffles or something fun for them to do. Swap meets are also one of the best things to do because people are always A, looking for something, or B, trying to get rid of stuff. Most of the time they don't sell, they usually end up trading, or they buy and then they buy something else that day. So everything is always changing hands at a swap meet. But swap meets are always good to do at an event, or just do an event and then plan things around that. So like I said, this is just what has worked for me and may work for you. Always pick a place that's big enough to do what you want to do. Sometimes you have to spend money to make a good event. Hence the reason why when we do get-togethers, I'm not going to call them events. When we do get-togethers, such as cookouts and stuff, we rent shelters. It's always good to have a place that everybody can meet. And if you're at a park, anybody comes and bothers you, technically, you're renting a shelter, so you're all set. Sometimes if you just take up a big space, it's not a good thing as far as people complain, and then next thing you know, oh, these RC guys came in. Also, another thing is if you're doing it at a park, rent a shelter. Only reason being is because nobody's going to come by that shelter. Therefore, you can launch trucks in the air, and you're pretty much safe as far as nobody getting hit, other than the people at your shelter. You don't want to be doing it just randomly somewhere, and then a child comes walking by that is not really supposed to be there, and you hit the child. So that's the reason why we always, I'm just, like I said, Nate, it's more of a what has worked for me. It took me 7 years to be able to throw an event where basically companies that sponsor, let's say, Fields Performance Hobbies, they could come and they actually sell product. I'm thankful for Fields Performance Hobby. Always thankful for Mike Deemer's work at Redline Automotive. I'm always thankful for companies like that because, they just make things bigger. They offer more. Like I said, Mike Deemer's work as well. They're always throwing motors or servos or some kind of gift cards from Fields or anything at us. So, like I said, I mean, even though you may get bummed that, oh man, my first event didn't go as well as I thought. They never do. They never do. My first event, I think I had 10 people show up. And as I get going and kept growing and putting it in people's faces continuously, it's not the Reckless RC name. Maybe it is. I have no idea. Might be my name. Not sure. I have no idea. But it's the fact that you're continuously putting it in people's faces. And it works. Because 90% of the time, if you don't, you post it once, They're going to read it. They're going to be like, oh, cool, I'll go to that. If it doesn't come back for another month, people are like, oh, shoot, I already scheduled something. I ain't going to be able to make it now. At least they can put it on their calendars or have a memory of, all right, oh, yeah, I got to remember that. I'm remembering that. Sometimes you literally have to, if you're going to stick to Facebook or Instagram, sometimes you will have to spend money on advertising because, once again, people will forget. People have wife, kids. Most of the RC folks have kids. 90% of the time, kids are going to trump RC. Family will trump RC. Your house will trump RC. A broken car will trump RC. So, if you can continuously put it in people's faces, it'll have a better chance of succeeding. All you got is Frank. Right? Like I said, your first event is never going to go. I'm not trying to blame anything, but like I said, I mean, it happens. It definitely happens. But once again, you have to make it to events. You have to go to, somebody posts an event, oh, we're going to go crawling this weekend. And that's a chance of 7 people that you have never met that you may meet. And then you can talk to them about it. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And they'll come to the event, possibly. Not saying that they will. But like I said, I mean, for me, throwing get-togethers almost every weekend for, 2 years, and then starting to throw bigger events, more people showed up. A cookout, which is not an event, it's a get-together. When we did that, I think we had over 100 people. And I only posted on 1 or 2 pages. I think the Scalers and the Reckless page. And people shared it and this and that. Next thing you know, it blew up. And then we had over 100 people that I wasn't even expecting. And what was nice is everybody came. They were respectful. They brought food to share. They brought cookies that put my buddy Andrew Schultz in a coma. Andrew's never going to get that. That's never going to go away. But like I said, I know I've been babbling, but like I said, I'm just putting it out there to people that may have watched this locally or, even in other states or so on and so forth that are getting into RC and they may want to throw an event. This is stuff that has worked. Reckless RC several years ago, I'm only going through all this stuff because I'm happy to be back in the studio. Happy to have all my stuff set up. Not happy that this thing's sitting here continuously breaking. But yeah. Were you at the first cookout? I don't remember. Oh yeah, you were. Yeah, because you bought some stuff too from I think Mike Deemer. I can't remember, but yeah, like I said, I mean, Reckless RC was meant to be 10 to 15 people. Was not meant to be. What are we at? Over almost 1,100. Never meant to be that big. I know we don't have that many people post, but this is to help new people as well because I see a lot of new names, a lot of new faces coming onto the Reckless page, posting, talking about getting into this, doing that. And it would be nice to, yes, that's right. Yep. And then Greg was always there poking at everybody's meat. Good old Greg. We like Greg. But like I said, this is just information for people that are coming into the hobby that were like, I kind of want to create an event or a get together and, how do I go about it? That's pretty much how you go about it. Making a post, if nobody knows you, nobody's going to really trust you. They're not going to know what you're trying to accomplish out of it. And be upfront. I totally upfronted the swap meet that I did with everything went to charity. I think we only kept a few bucks to give to Samantha for doing the registration all by herself and taking care of the t-shirts and stuff like that. Everything else went to charity. And like I said, I don't hide anything from anybody. I had several $100s of my own money into this as far as buying stuff at certain stores to give away. Like I bought some stuff at Performance Hobby when we went out there for giveaways. I also bought some stuff from Fields Hobby on top of the stuff that they did donate to give away and raffle off. So, I mean, like I said, I'm 100% upfront on all of my events where the money is going. Food Bank, I did Food Bank of West New York. We kept absolutely nothing. We spent money for giveaways as well. I think some boats and this and that. But sometimes you do have to spend money to be able to do a successful event. If you're doing just a get together at a park, it's perfectly fine. It's a get together at a park. 90% of the time, if it's a cool place, people want to try it, you should have no problems. But once again, if you want to do major events down the road, that's a good thing to start doing. Doing little events here and there, get togethers, getting a group of people together, meeting new faces, meeting new people. A lot of new people on the Reckless page. Welcome. I'm trying to keep the drama out. If there's an issue, please get a hold of me, private message me, and I'll try to take care of it and squash it. I'm trying to keep everything in line because of so many new people, new faces. I don't want anybody to run away scared of the RC community because somebody had a bad comment and so on and so forth. So, like I said, I mean, newer folks, if you're trying to do get-togethers, just post them up. I know the first few are going to stink, but if it's a cool place, people will come and try it. Like I said, everybody nowadays thinks there's an agenda involved for a get-together or an event. Just be upfront. Same thing you Nate. You know, if you're going to take any profit, you know, be upfront. People like when you're upfront about something. If everything's going to charity, cool. I was upfront. Everything went to charity except for some money that we kept, and which, you know, like I said, you know, had to go to myself and Samantha for her running around with the registration and stuff like that. I think that was total $60, something like that. And like I said, $60 for throwing out a whole event. Like that's absolutely nothing compared to what was given away. So, which doesn't matter to me. I love charities. Everybody knows that. I do whatever I can, especially if it's for charity. But charity has to start at home. That's why I'm taking a mental break. That's why I'm not doing events. Next year, I will blow an event out of the water. We're doing one big one that hopefully a lot of people get involved with, and it will should be awesome. Should be bringing all the RC that's genres. How would that go? All the different the rally, the drag, the bashers. Sorry, boats. I can't have you guys involved unless I can find a place to do it that has water. But drones, maybe in airplanes. I don't know, but I want to try to get all involved in one big event. And the fact that you can win trophies, which I'm not going to put out to the public yet. Yes, a variety of RC. Don't know where I want to do it. Don't know if I'm going to do it at the Variety Club. This event, obviously, the cost is going to be huge out of my pocket. So if I do it, some will have to come back to me because, like I said, I have to pay myself back somehow. And then the rest of the money will go to a charity of choosing. I haven't chose that yet. Maybe the Friday Club, maybe Feed More Western New York. Depends on when I do it. And so I haven't picked that. I worked with the Variety Club. Love the people at the Variety Club. Love the people at Feed More Western New York, which food bank, if you guys don't know what that is. So I like doing that stuff. But maybe it's time to work with another one just to pick out the variety of charities in Western New York. So once again, that event will be paying myself back because there's going to be a lot of costs involved, and then the rest of the money, and there'll be extras as far as raising money that'll go to the charity. So still working on all the details, still working on all the trophy ideas, all of this, all of that, but we'll announce more hopefully in the fall. I will have more written down. Still won't have the location because I have to find somewhere big enough to, I don't know, kind of have it, because I think I'm going to need a lot of space. And but once again, that piece of information was just for all the new people. Like I said, don't be discouraged if you have a get together and nobody shows. It happens. I do YouTube lives and other YouTube things, and people don't show up, and sometimes I'm talking to myself, which is perfectly fine because this is what I like to do. I don't like to break my trucks. I don't like to fix them if I don't have to. So that's not one thing I like to do. But I like to be in a studio. I like to give you guys information, especially when you guys are new to events. But yes, get out there. You know, if you plan on doing the events, get out there. Get to as many events as possible, or get-togethers as possible. Meet new people, talk to new people, create friendships, create relationships with them. Whatever you got to do. Like I said, I mean, this is just, I don't plan on doing many anymore. So I would love to see other people do them. Will I be involved? If I become involved in any events now, I have to charge, because it's to take away time from my family. There has to be a cost involved. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to make $1 million and be this big event planner or be this head honcho, or I'm not that guy. Half the time I like to be kind of in the backyard by myself, relaxing, kind of a mental break at 40 years old. We're all getting older. But like I said, I would rather see others do events and see them grow and be excited and happy about them. And to be honest with you, they're stressful. They really, really are. Bob will tell you, you guys see me running around at the swap meet with my head cut off, trying to talk to people and say hi and bye and this and that. And some people I didn't even get to have conversations with, or it was just a quick hi, shake a hand, how you doing? So you need others to be there with you as far as organizing. Like I said, Nate, that the swap meet, me, I don't like asking for help, but I know I have people in my corner that'll just jump in. Mike Crawl, he knows. Yeah, without the beep beep. I'm a road runner without the beep beep. But like I said, I knew that if I really needed it, my brother Alex, he jumped in. He got some pictures and some videos, and other people got some pictures. I was supposed to go live, but I didn't get a chance to go live. And Mike Deemer and Mike Crawl were outside. They were watching the trucks hit the ramp and stuff. And I didn't want to bother them to help. When Mike Crawl was done, he came in and he asked if I needed some help. He ran that crawler course for me, which was great, and I appreciate that. I love those guys. They've been with me from the beginning. So create relationships like that. Even though we all may be friends, like, you know, friends outside of RC, or, you know, whether we're just friends in RC, you know, myself, I don't really have the time that I would like to put into helping everybody with an event. You can bounce ideas off me, and that's what I'm doing right now, is the last, whatever it is, half hour or so, is giving you pieces of advice to help you grow your events if that's what you want to do. I'm not a glorified event planner. It's just, this is what you have to do. Like I said, you know, the guys at Fields, I wouldn't have built a relationship with them if I didn't keep going in there and spending money and joking and having the balls, let's say, to ask them for, hey, you know, we're throwing this event. Do you mind kicking in? And will they do it all the time? Absolutely not. Would I do it as a business all the time? Absolutely not. Because what happens is, I'm not saying this happens with, you know, the guys at Fields or Performance Hobbies or anybody else, but if I was a small business and every week somebody asked me for a sponsor this event spot, obviously I'm going to get burned out of doing the same thing. Like I said, it's a money thing. You know, how much money can you keep throwing out the window to sponsor something? Sometimes it's good. Obviously, most of the time, if it's for charity, most of them don't mind. But once again, you have to build that relationship and the trust. I don't know if Fields trust me, but I hope after the last swap meet where they actually made money, they trust me. But correct, Bob, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, yes, I know Sometimes I run around, sometimes I say things I shouldn't, but 90% of the time my mind is always racing because, Nate, as you know, I try to do 5 million things all the time, from the shop, from at home, from the family, from doctors, from this. So I'm always trying to go, and I never have time to really sit there and tell you the right things to do. Like if you're asking me when I'm thinking of 20 other things of, hey, do you think I should do this? I might give you a quick response that you may not want to hear, and it may sound like I'm being as some people call me, an asshole. And I'm really not. It's just because I already have 70 things on my mind, and that is not one of them. And but like I said, build relationships. That'll help you in the long run. If you have to start your own RC thing, that's up to you. There's already 5 million out there, and half the time people stick to the biggest ones because they know they're going to get a response, or they're going to get some kind of other feedback, and they would rather just deal with a bigger group because they know they feel comfortable there. If they start in another group, it like I said, there's 5 million groups out there. People send me 3 a day, and half the time I just decline them. It's nothing against them. It's just I'm already in like 3,000 of them, so I can't be in another one that I can't remember of. But like I said, biggest piece of advice is build relationships and build positive relationships. That will help you succeed in the long run. I'm like I said, I'm about to get off of this, but I just wanted to offer that piece of advice. Go out there, build relationships, keep putting the event in people's face or get together in people's face. Like if you're going to plan it for 2 weeks, mention it a couple times a week, or comment on your post again just to bring it back to the top. That's really going to be your biggest thing, especially if you don't have the money to spend on advertising for it. Like I did, I spent like over $250 between February and April just to keep it in people's face. Not only that, it wasn't really for me, it was for everybody else as well as the sponsors, as well as the charity. I wanted a big turnout, not for the Reckless RC name to be known. It was more for the Variety Club of West New York, and it was more for the sponsors to get recognized. I don't know if that brought them more business, but at least the advertising of the flyer and stuff, they can see all the names on it. They can see all the people, because when I boosted the post, all their information was in there. So, but do that, if you can, if you have the money to advertise. Also, you have to learn how to use the Facebook advertisements to help you. There's a bunch of YouTube videos on there. Now it looks like I'm turning into a marketing segment. I'm not trying to turn it into a marketing segment, but I hope that at the end of this, you can skip right through all the beginning of me talking about how much this thing breaks. I'm hoping you could skip right through it and take this information and throw a good event, because I would love to go to somebody's event and be like, this is great. I don't got to do nothing. I could just watch everything, and I could watch everybody else run around. But to do that, make sure you have somebody to help you. Have multiple people help you. Have a good group of people around you that ask you if you need anything. Bob was another one. Do you need anything from me? Do you need anything? Have those type of people around you. And I'm glad I have those people around, even though I don't ask anybody to help. I would rather watch everybody have a good time. Just build those relationships with people that if you do need something at an event, they can pitch in and help. You can just kind of guide them, say, hey, if you don't mind doing this for me for a little bit, but don't make it their job. Learn the Facebook advertisement. I'll go back to that because, like I said, I know Bob was the best bald-headed looking guy there. I'm just telling you guys now that. But once again, Bob, I appreciated you guys coming up to me. There was a couple other folks that came up to me and said, hey, do you need anything? Me, because I would rather see everybody have fun and not be involved in my chaos. I usually just tell everybody no. But I know Bert and Tom were telling me consistently before the event, we'll handle this. I told them, I go, the only thing I may not be able to do is handle the jump, because I was definitely not expecting over 200 and something people, almost 300 people to show up that day. Half of them weren't even from the RC community. Well, actually, I think it was about a quarter of the people, maybe close to half, weren't even from the RC community, but they bought trucks that day. And I'm pretty sure a couple of them that I got their phone number because they don't do Facebook, they messaged me and said they went to Fields and bought a TRX4 Sport and blah, 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 blah. So they got into the hobby because of everybody showing it off. My wife, thanks to you, Bob, wants a semi-truck. So, yeah. So I think I'm just going to make you build it because of that. But once again, like I said, build relationships if you're going to do an event. Positive relationships. I hope I have enough positive relationships that I didn't burn any bridges. I know some people get mad at me because I get too busy and then I just ignore them for a few days, because technically, if I'm not on my computer for a couple of days and my computer's up and Facebook happens, I don't get the messages through my phone. It doesn't beep or nothing. The notifications don't pop up, and they'll come up on the computer, and then I won't get them. And I think they're red. So I apologize if I don't answer some people's messages. Remember, Bob, when I just drop a truck off and I disappear and say it needs to be this color, I know I'll get the bill later down the road, but I do know that my wife needs one, and I would like to get her one built, but I have to pick out one, and I don't want to give her my truck that I have in the box. I will rather have her pick it out and then go from there. So, but back to the topic of events, positive relationships, advertising, continuously posting, make sure it's in people's faces. Make sure it's something you have fun. I had this conversation with Dave. If it becomes a job, it's not fun no more. RC did that to me for a while. I think it was last year. I didn't pick up an RC truck for months because I was burned out, because I was trying to do too much. I was doing too much work. And then if I wasn't doing work, I was trying to create an event or a get together. Don't burn yourself out. If you feel like it's becoming a job and you're going to hate the RC, you're going to hate the RC world. It's going to drive you nuts. And you're like, you know what, I'm done with this. And that's why a lot of people get out, because you have too many negative posts, or, a new person comes in and there's negative comments. And that's what I'm saying about burning a bridge. Be the positive to that comment. If they get a bad comment, get out of here. If they get a negative comment, be a positive, post a positive comment. That's another person that will follow you, as far as, being a good friend or being a positive acquaintance in your life. Bob, he's just there. He's neither. He's just there. You can't miss him either. He's big. He takes up space. So, no, I'm just kidding, Bob. But also learn Facebook advertising. Facebook is linked to Instagram, so you can do both. But I do love you, Bob, even though you got a nice bald head that I will never have, even though I'm going bald. But like I said, just a few more things about being successful at running events or get-togethers. I know I see a lot, and I don't know how many people get together when people do post get-togethers. I don't know if Bob is very good people's. His dad too. I like his dad more than I like him. So there's no. I'm not going to say it anymore. But no, I'm just kidding. And but like I said, questions always throw you off topic. I know people complain about oh, you're always jumping around. Well, sometimes you get questions and you have to joke around and talk. So, but also, if you're going to do a lot of actual bigger events, you need to learn Facebook advertising. You need to learn targeting. If I could give you this one piece of advice, learn that. Whether you're watching YouTube or you just go behind the scenes and pretend you're going to boost a post or boost an event, start learning your targeting, your market, your so on and so forth. That will help you in the long run. the swap meet probably would not have been as big of an event if I didn't do what I did. There was, in 1 month, with even just spending $1 a day, which I did in the beginning, and then it went up to almost, I want to say like $14 a day or something like that. Learn that. Even if it's just $1 a day for 7 days, learn to target your market, such as Rochester, Batavia, Erie, PA is a good place too, because some of those folks will travel for a bigger event, which I had, besides Jared, I had like 4 other people from PA that showed up that I talked to. But learn that, especially if you want to do a big event and have a big gathering of just not just people in our Buffalo area, but sometimes people in Rochester or Erie, PA. Sometimes there's no events out there for folks to go to, especially like the swap meet. I mean, there is some, but I don't know how big they get. Rick Perry, I like Rick Perry. He builds some cool stuff. Correct. And when he was there, I think he said the same thing. It was overwhelming how big it was. Jay from Fields said the same thing. It was just, it was continuous. My buddy Joe, that has nothing to do with RC, he said it was outrageous. I've had some folks from the Variety Club tell me that we outgrew the place quick. And that, like I said, that wasn't me. That was you guys showing up. You know what I mean? I don't like taking credit for things. All I was just a party planner. It was up to everybody else to come to the party. So if you guys are going to get into bigger events, learn Facebook marketing as far as the back end advertising. It's going to help you. Nate, like I said, even if you spend $1 a day, learn it if you plan on doing more big events. I know Mike Rice was talking about some events as well. If they're just D6s or get-togethers, obviously you don't need to learn it. But once you start getting other businesses involved and it starts costing money, that's when you want to make sure that you do some kind of advertising. Posting it on a Facebook group works, but it doesn't really matter because sometimes people will forget about it, especially if you only post it once every couple of weeks or once a month. You have to keep it in people's faces. Get-togethers, like I said, are a different thing. There's really nothing you could do about a get-together unless you want to make it an event. But once you start getting too many people in let's say you go to Chestnut Ridge or Spragueburg Park, like we don't call it an event at Spragueburg Park because it's really not an event. It's just a get-together of everybody having a cookout and having fun and meeting new people and talking. So when we did that, it's never really an event. It's just a big get-together cookout. We rent the shelter. And we all just get together and have fun. But once you go to a park and you try to throw an event there, at least rent a shelter. Try to have food. I got to start feeding Bert when he's here so he doesn't get sick on me. So when you do that at a park, if it's going to be an all-day thing, do the right thing. Rent a shelter. Don't call it an event. Call it a get-together. Therefore, there's really no way anybody can really have an issue with you getting together. It also helps that if somebody pulls a ramp out of their car and they're shooting a truck 100 feet in the air, you already have that shelter rented. You know the people around you are RC people, and they're all going to be watching you. 90% of the time, if you rent a shelter, it's going to be your normal group around you. You're not going to have other people coming over and just hanging out and stuff like that unless they're looking at an RC. So if something goes flying, 90% of the time, it's going to hit another RC person. But usually an RC person knows when trucks start flying, get the hell out of the way. So that is another piece of advice. If you're going to do a big get-together at a park, rent a shelter, especially if you're going to have trucks flying or you're going to be racing around with UDRs or something like that. Try to rent a shelter. They're relatively cheap. I think 100 person in most parks in New York State are like $75. I'm pretty sure that's that 100 person one that we rent at Spragbrook all the time. Is like $75. I think it might have went up to $100. I'm not sure because I didn't rent one this year. But it used to be $75. Get a 100-person shelter. We have the whole opening. People bring ramps. They shoot trucks. They race around. They go crazy, and we don't ever have to worry about anybody other than another RC person possibly getting hit. Which it's going to happen. At least once, somebody's either going to come close to it or hit themselves. But like I said, just more information to help you guys down the road. Like I said, I don't plan on doing too many get-togethers or events anymore, except for one big one, unless something cool happens and, I get involved. But try to do it the best way possible, especially if you rent a shelter and you call it a big get-together and you want to market it. At least it looks legit. If you're going to Shelter 31, obviously there's limited parking. You don't need anybody at the park start sitting there going, because of the RC people, we can't have the RCs in these parks. Technically, I don't really think you're supposed to, due to insurance and safety reasons, but at least do it the right way. I know when we go to Shelter 31, we park to the side, and a lot of the times we take up a lot of the parking when we get together. So if I ever do an event again, I will end up, or a get together at a park, I will end up renting a shelter. And if you want to come, it'll just be a couple bucks to pay for the shelter. And then we'll have a shelter to park at. If you want to cook, you want to do whatever you want, get together, you want to race this, do this, at least we're in our own areas. Over the last probably few months, I've been thinking about that more and trying to do things the legit way. And I would rather pay the money at the park and have a legit place to park, have a place to cook if I want, place to relax, place down, place to race somewhere else, charge batteries from the van, whatever, instead of taking up space and giving RC a bad name as far as at places. Because I have noticed a lot, this isn't in particular, but I have noticed like a lot of gatherings lately at parks and are using shelters, and they're going to reserve shelters and they're not reserving their own, and they're getting kicked out. This has nothing to do with the RC people, but I've been seeing a lot of posts about people complaining because they were at a park, they didn't rent a shelter, there was no reserve on it, but it was reserved, and they were getting kicked out when the people showed up. So if you're going to, this is for the RC people, if you're going to have a get together and there's going to be like 25, 30 people, everybody chip in a couple bucks, pay for a shelter, park there, and then go to the trails just to cover your butt. Because like I said, the RC community is growing. We had over 100 and something new members in the last few months. So these are all new people. These are all new people I see posting. That's more cars, more things at the park. That's more people that don't know you can't run a UDR down a street at a park because if something happens, we're all going to get kicked out. And I don't want to see that. So just play it safe. Make friends, not enemies. Obviously, you're always going to have that one person that hates you if you succeed at something and they don't. Obviously, that happens. I probably have them. It's just nobody told me to my face yet. So I'm going to be ending it. But once again, Nate, I know if you're still watching, just don't take anything to heart if I tell you I want you to succeed, but I want you to know what to do and learn from your mistakes. I will give people pointers, but I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'll just point you to this video. Watch the last hour of it, and it'll basically tell you what to do. So, like I said, make friends, not enemies. Go to events, go to get-togethers, try to make friends. Get a solid group of people around you that you can count on. I wouldn't count on myself. Like I said, I'm always running around, so don't count on me. But learn to do, if you're going to continue doing any of this stuff, yes, it's going to cost you. Or Frank or whoever is the money man, it's going to cost to run a successful event. Nothing in this world is free. It just doesn't happen. An event will cost you. Obviously, you see that once you rent the hall and so on and so forth. It costs money to be successful. No successful person ever, not even in RC, look at RC Sparks. Look how much money that dude probably spent in the beginning to be successful. I spent a lot of money and I'm still not successful. I got broken trucks. I get ripped off at fields for broken things. So if you can, learn the Facebook advertising for your event. We can call that event because you technically, you actually rented the hall for that. So that's fine. Yes. Don't think you're going to have 500 people right off the bat. It never happens. Like I said, my first event never happened. We had 10 people, I think. And guess what? That 10 people consisted of me, Alex, Deemer, Crawl, Tom, Jared, I think Scott Benson, JP, and I can't remember one or two, but they may have been gone their separate ways or something like that, or don't do RC no more. So as you start building a name for yourself with the events, people are going to know. But like I said, you have to offer something in return. You just saying, okay, I'm throwing this event, we're going to do this, and then you get there the day of and it doesn't happen, people are going to remember that. That's why I was in a hurry to get the crawler course started. I was in a hurry to get them guys jumping out there, which 716 Bashers put on a show by themselves. So that was great that they came. But like I said, go in it thinking you're going to have 25 people. Therefore, if you have more, great. If you have less, at least you only expected 25. Not saying that that's going to happen. You might have 1,000. I don't know. I never expected anything. That's why I get surprised so much. Yeah, it's like I said, but your first event is always going to be like that. This isn't just talking to you, Nate. This is just talking to anybody I know. I know Chris Perry. He's been trying to throw events, and I really haven't really seen him lately as far as posting anything. So, also, if you're going to do anything in the city of Buffalo, let me be clear. If you're going to do anything in the city of Buffalo, you need permits, you need insurance, you need liability, you need to get a hold of the city. This is not intended to anybody. This is not intended to anybody at the lakeside. It's just what it is. This is why you see me never throwing events in the city of Buffalo. It costs too much money. You're better off renting a hall. You're better off having just a small get-together, but make sure you rent the shelter. Like I said, this is all stuff I got yelled at for or I learned from. What you're doing with the Variety Club, they have an insurance blanket. So you're perfectly fine. You're renting it from them, which includes the insurance, the this, the that, the this. So you're good. Correct. You need, listen, when you go to the city of Buffalo, they have this. They have their handout. And what are you going to do? Here's some money. This is some money. What else do you need? Oh, more money? It's just the way it is. But if you're doing anything in the city of Buffalo, try to keep it as small get together. Anything blows up in the city of Buffalo, they think it's an event. So, like I said, this is not intended to anybody. I've try to do things in the city, and they want this, they want that, they want this, and I try to tell everybody the same thing. I've been trying to grow the RC community as much as possible in 7 years, whether, like I said, helping JP with the drifting, or doing this event, or doing this or doing that, or incorporating these guys with this. The cruise night last year, I wanted to see what would happen, and a lot of people showed up to the point where the parking lot was packed, and that was their biggest night ever, as well as Joe with the Night Rider. That was their biggest night of their cruise night, because the RC people see something fun, they want to come. So try to do it the legal way, or it's just going to hurt you in the long run as far as fines and so on and so forth. Lucky enough, I have never got no fines, but that's what helped me grow to see the RC community grow. Like I said, that's all I ever wanted. I know people get mad at me because, I had an event and you didn't show up. I apologize. I know I don't make it to everything like I think I can. I know I'm repeating myself, but I just wanted to get out there. It's nothing against anybody, but family trumps events. And spending 2 months away from the family, not doing anything, which happened this weekend too. I didn't get to see the family at all weekend because I was busy doing this and that, and I had stuff to do, and which will benefit the family down the road. But like I said, 40 years old, I started a family. This is what I have to do. My kids, my house, this, that. This is what happens. So seeing the community grow and how fast it's growing with different genres of RC or variety or whatever we want to call it, it's going crazy. I see more people from the Big Indian Drift Pit buying drift cars, asking about drift cars, all because we started doing some stuff at the Drift Pit. I left that all in JP's hands now, so it's and with JP getting the building, I don't know if much more is happening at the Drift Pit. I don't know what can happen between now. I could pass out at a toilet, and I don't know. I'll probably be there. Like I said, I don't know how long I'll be there, but like I said, I will be there. But like I said, I only wanted to see the community grow and learning from my mistakes. I would like to see others learn from my mistakes. And if you are going to throw an event in the city of Buffalo, sometimes you have to go through hoops in Hamburg and Lancaster and so on and so forth. Go the right route. When I tried to throw an event in the city of Buffalo, this was before Lakeside came apart, or the rock pile. They wanted permits. They wanted me to carry insurance. They wanted, because there were so many hours that we were going to be there, they wanted food. The food truck had to be approved. It was just a nightmare. So do your research. If you're renting a shelter in the city of Buffalo, it's a get-together. It's not an event. Like if you're going to, like I said before, Spragbrook, rent a shelter, call it a get-together, cook out, do whatever you want. Now you don't have to worry about anybody really getting hurt if the guys are racing UDRs and X-Maxes. Also, try to keep the nitro stuff out of it. The nitro stuff brings bad juju around you. People call and complain because of the noise ordinance. So, like I said, this is just in Buffalo. I don't know if you're in Rochester, if things are different. If you're in different states, this doesn't apply to you, because obviously this is more for our locals here that are trying to get into events and doing things and get-togethers. So once again, if you're going to do an event as well, Nate, learn Facebook advertising. It will help you out with events. Make sure you tag the Variety Club. Any sponsors, make sure they're added in there. Add a link to their website. Add a link to their Facebook page. Ask them what they would rather have. Some people would rather have it go to their social media, and some would rather have it go to their website. Like I said, ask if you get sponsors. Also, try to build relationships with people. Okay, I already said this a million times, but I'm going to go through one more time just in case somebody wants to skip through everything and just go right to the end. So build relationships, learn Facebook advertising. Make sure when you do Facebook advertising, make sure if you have an Instagram, make sure it's linked, and allow them to advertise on Instagram. It's a choice in Facebook. Learning all these new marketing things behind the scenes for other businesses and stuff I'm working on. I've been learning this stuff and it works. Even if you spend $1 a day for 7 days a week, that's still an extra 50 to 150 people, depending on how you target it, you can reach. That week you do that, learn the statistics, see how many people have clicked and engaged. Sometimes there's an age group it'll show you which is it's targeting. Next week, do the same thing, $1 a day, 7 days a week, target that age group. Like I said, this is all stuff that you can learn cheap and easy, but will help you throw a successful event. You want to make sure that when you're building your name up, not saying that I'm trying to build my name up, not trying to say that you guys are building your name up, but if you're trying to build your name up for events, people are going to look at you by your past events, what you do, where you go. You know, this helps. You know, the YouTube channel and stuff like that. That definitely helps. But it's because for years I went and visited other events or participated in events or helped throw events or got this get together, met this person, did that. My personality's junk, Bob. My personality's junk, I tell you. But once again, be open. If people have ideas, even if you don't use them, take into consideration. There's a lot of things that people have said to me, Jay, Bob. There's things that people have said to me that I took to heart. Hence the reason why my next event will be set up the way it is. One's because Bob said something to me before. I'm not going to say it on the air. As well as Jay has said it to me a few times as well. But like I said, it's all in building relationships with people. Because at the end of the day, if you're not going to any events, you're not doing this, you're just on Facebook doing this, people are going to just think you're this on Facebook. Unless you're going and meeting them and helping them with their truck. Like the one year, I met 5 new people. Want to know how I met 5 new people and still talk to those 5 people today? Is because they broke on the trail. I gave them a servo. Colin Ramrook. I think I said his name wrong. I'm pretty sure I sent his last name wrong. I'm sorry. I met him. I know how I met him, and we still talk to this day. He still likes my stuff. I don't talk to him as much now that he has the girlfriend, so I know he's busy with life. I met him by giving him a motor for his TRX4 Sport, and still to this day, once in a while we'll talk. I know, like I said, life gets in the way, but I built a friendship with him. Same thing with several other people. I gave away so many motors and servos the one year. All brand new stuff, some used stuff that I took out of trucks that were still working. But those are the relationships you want to build, and people are going to remember you for those. So get out there and build relationships if that's what you want to do as far as organizing events or get-togethers. And I should probably get off now and get ready to get up early. But like I said, this was just to help you. I know, Nate, you were watching. And I mean, I figure if I can tell you this, it might help build a successful event. And same thing if Mike Rice watches this later. I know he usually messages me, and I'll tell him some stuff. That's all it is at the end. It's just relationships, and they got to be positive. Obviously, you're going to have that one or two guys that think you're a complete dick. And I know there's a lot of them out there that think I'm a dick. I'm really not. I just want to see the RC community grow. I want everybody to be happy. No drama. I sure in the hell don't want drama on my page. I don't want drama in my life. So, go out, build those relationships, Nate. Whether it's you go out for an hour just to cruise with people, do what you got to do, because at the end of the day, that's really all it's gonna be. Because 90% of the time, your friends are gonna come and support you, and if you're not supporting them, they're gonna be like, "Why am I gonna support you?" And I get it, because, like I said, this year there's a lot of, like, Chris Perry's event. I didn't get to that. There's a couple other events that I didn't make it to that I wish I could have. Things gonna get in the way. So, once again, go out there, build relationships, have fun doing it. Don't leave a negative Nancy name in their head. Like I said, I'm trying to get rid of that on our group page, all the negativity. And once again, if you guys see this and you think it's you, just get off the page, please. It'll save me a lot of time. Because at the end of the day, these new folks don't need that shit in their life. They got into the RC community because A, they are escaping reality of hardships in their life, or B, they just want to meet new people to hang out with, or they're new to the scene as far as the Buffalo area or whatever, and they're just trying to meet people, and all this negativity crap is not working, and I don't want it anywhere near me. So once again, Nate, go out, talk to people, even if they don't know you. Try to put your name in their mouth to the point where they're going to remember you. Mike Rice knows the same thing. He's been around for a while. He sees events. He knows about events. He's been to them. He sees how they operate. Nate, to be honest with you, I don't know how many of you've been with since I've known you going to events, but I know you go to some of the get-togethers. You go to some of the polls, but sometimes you have to do more than less. Dave, he's got fields to back him as far as the rally stuff. Plus, he's been out there for a while. He's been in the racing scene forever, so he's old as dirt. So he knows the routine. As far as creating a page and doing events, obviously he's learning what new drivers are and veteran drivers are, and so he's in that area of trying to put everything together. So hopefully you know more and you will put that stuff to use. And thank you for watching. Sorry it was so long. It's just I'm happy to be back in my own studio, and I'm happy to have the lights on. The power didn't go out. I still need some help. This truck needs some help, but thank you. Go out there, Nate. Go look at Facebook advertising. That's going to help you down the road. But Bob, love you. I have to get to your place and wreck your course like you tried to do to mine, and we'll have to have you over again. And hopefully this time your truck doesn't start on fire with WD-40. But thank you for watching. And it's 2.5 hours. It doesn't really feel like 2.5 hours. God, I love this place. But anyways, take care. Love yous. Take care. Bye. Good night. See ya later. Bye.